This Turn Board Gaming Podcast. This is episode 41, Origins Highlights and Hidden Gems Draft. My name is Tyler.
Hello, this is Kevin.
This is Tyson.
In this episode, we're going to talk about Origins a little bit and play some audio clips that I collected while I attended. Then we're going to talk about a few games that we've been playing lately. And then we're going to do a draft of BGG ranked games between 1,000 and 1,500.
Some hidden gems, right? Maybe games that haven't gotten a whole lot of coverage, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Tyler, from Ohio.
Thank you.
I'm jealous that we didn't get to go with you.
Yeah, jerk.
I wish you guys could have come. I met my buddy Jason, who we've been friends for years. He's our moderator on Discord. We met. He's out in Virginia, and we shared a hotel, and we had a blast, and it was awesome to see him again and play games, and we had a good time.
Nice.
It would have been awesome if you guys would have been there too.
Hey, maybe next year we'll all go.
Yeah, I need to plan for it a little bit better. This it's just small kids traveling without the family has become more difficult. But I will say that I did tell you at the start of the Origins week that I wanted to live vicariously through you through a bunch of pictures and things like that. And I feel like I lived more vicariously through Jason than I did through you.
Yeah,
there was a lack of pictures posted.
My brain was scrambled. I mean, walking around, talking to people, playing games, making sure I got to all my appointments and hit all my slots and learning new games. It was nonstop mental gymnastics.
I believe it. I've done that before, but I felt like 2022 Origins, I got to see candy that Tyler was tempted to eat.
I did take a picture.
Were they back?
I didn't see them, but I did take a picture in front of Gorus Maximus. I just never sent it to you.
Again?
Another picture?
Yeah, just in front of the game.
This is like a thing. Hopefully it's there every year now, right? So you said this seemed more well attended than last year, right?
Yeah, there were way more booths. I felt like there was more people. It was definitely busier, but it was awesome. I had a great time. Some of the highlights were talking to publishers, and I'll get into some of their audio clips that I recorded where they told me about some of their games that they've got going on or that are upcoming. I think some of the highlights, obviously, okay, you got Schmitz, right? We went to Schmitz a couple times.
Awesome.
Amazing German food. I have been doing no sugar for several months. I had a cream puff and I had some ice cream in the North Market, but I didn't have any soda. I'm also doing that. So I jumped off the bandwagon for a little bit and then jumped back on, but it was delicious and amazing. I don't know. It was just awesome. Talking to like Dave Thompson, Evan Halbert, who's in our Discord, and I got to play one of his prototypes, Great Meteora, which was amazing. That was a really fun experience.
I was very
and it was
curious.
cool getting to meet him for the first time.
Because he's the designer of After the Empire, and both Kevin and I have played that now, and I really enjoyed that game.
Yeah, really good game. It beat us down.
Yeah,
it was brutal, but it was a really good game.
But it was awesome, and so I'm excited to see more. I know that he's teased more expansions to After the Empire, but I'm also curious to see what other games he's got coming, because I'll be excited for that.
Yeah, the one we played, we were there in the playtest area, and we were there for 2.5 hours playing the game, which I was a little tired. I had just gotten done with a 2-hour demo of Perseverance, episode 3. I was struggling to keep my eyes open at first, but I think I pulled out the victory by 1 point. So it was fun though. It was a really cool prototype.
It always feels good when you're playing against a designer and you can beat them at their own game. But then I always question, am I actually beating them, or are they wanting me to have a good experience?
That's exactly what it is. You should totally discount your win.
Probably. Yeah, I'm sure that he was playing maybe not optimally. He was testing
trying
the boundaries of his game. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, but him aside, I beat Jason and the other guy that was there, so I felt good about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you can still feel good. That's good. Yeah.
One of the coolest things, we sat down at the chicken place that's upstairs in North Market. We're sitting there, and these two dudes sit down. We're waiting for our food, and the one guy looks at me and just starts smiling. And I'm like, "Hey!" And it come to find out, his name's Ammon Anderson. He has a Etsy store that we've bought stickers from, board game stickers. And then the other guy was Brant Brinkerhoff from Ash Games, who designed Oros and did the Kickstarter himself and all of his own art. Super cool dudes. We saw them a lot over the course of the con. Brant taught us Oros, which was awesome. Jason and I got to play it with him. He did not go lightly. He destroyed us, but it was a blast.
You got to see how the game's played, right?
Yeah. And then Ammon has his own an upcoming game. I don't think it's quite signed yet with a publisher, but it's called Gnome Hollow. His art is amazing, and the gameplay was a blast. Just cute, fun, abstract game with some strategy behind it that I cannot wait to see get published. So.
You posted some pictures of this one, and I agree. The art looks really fun on it, and I'd be interested to give it a try once it gets a publication. But you said that he's got a sticker Etsy shop. Is that where we've printed? So turn stickers or other stickers?
No, board game stickers. So for specific games, like Ben has the ones for Batoku. I received like Dune Imperium ones for Christmas, and I also bought Final Girl ones for Shelley. And
is that where Ben got it's the Alice in Wonderland?
That's
game.
what I was wondering.
Wonderland's
War. Yeah.
I wonder if he got Wonderland's War from there because he stickered all of the, which is absolutely insane, but he stickered all of those.
Yeah,
those
maybe. I'm not sure if it's the same store, but his art style is really cool. Those guys were awesome. It was super cool to meet them. Like I said, cool to talk to Dave Thompson again. Keith Mateka from Thunderworks, just see some familiar faces.
Yeah.
Still haven't had the experience of like someone running up and being like, "Oh, the longest turn, guys." We don't really put pictures of ourselves out there though. So,
but really, we're the only ones wearing the t-shirts. Yeah. Nobody else has those.
Yeah, right. It was cool. I was telling Jason about Green Team Wins and at the 25th Century booth because he hadn't played it or heard about it yet. And I was telling him about it, and there's a guy standing there, and it was the designer. I think his name's Nathan Thornton. And we started talking, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we talked about this game on our podcast." And he was like, "Oh, I listened to that episode. You guys are awesome." And so that was cool, and it was cool to start building more relationships and see familiar faces. But I had a blast with Jason, and it was good to hang out with him, and we had a good time. Good food, good times, good games. I'm excited for Gen Con. So
that's what I was going to say. Gen Con next. We're gonna see some of the same publishers, I'm sure, and some of the same people. And I'm going to that one.
Yeah,
which is going to be great.
And Ben's going.
And
Greg. My thumbs and.
Hey, I'll post more pictures.
Yeah. I'll rely on you and Ben to give me more vicarious.
Oh, jeez. I'm going to be more laid back during that. Being the only co-host from The Longest Turn, I felt like I had a lot of weight on my shoulders to get some stuff done. And
we split up duties last time.
We did.
And divided and conquered as much as we could. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it'll be good. Gen Con will be fun.
So let's just jump into some of the clips that I've got. We're going to start out with Keith Mateka from Thunderworks Games, and he's going to tell us a little bit about their most recent fulfilled Kickstarter and their upcoming Kickstarter. So.
Yeah, hey guys. I wanted to show off upcoming Stonespine Architects, which is coming from Thunderworks Games on July 11th. Kickstarter's 3-week-long campaign. This is a fantastic drafting game from Jordi Adanf, who is the designer of Cartographers. Each round of the game, you're building 4 rooms and adding it to your dungeon. You're passing dungeon chamber cards to your neighbors. You're trying to build up enough gold each round to add more elements to your dungeon to meet different scoring requirements. You also have a blueprint card you get at the beginning of the game that gives you some guidance and different ways to get points. It plays 1 to 5 players. It's probably at the full 5 players, 45 minutes to an hour. With 1 or 2 players, you're looking at more like 30 minutes. And it's got a lot of variability, a lot of fun ways to score. I think you guys are going to dig it.
It looks pretty sweet. So this goes to Kickstarter July 11th. Are you guys doing any add-ons or?
Yeah, we've got a couple add-ons that we're not talking about just now, some surprise things. So we're doing something that Thunderworks has never done before, and I'm really hoping people are excited about it. And there may or may not be some items coming for that are going to be available from previous Thunderworks products. So we'll just keep it at that. But yeah, check us out July 11th on Kickstarter. We're going to have some surprise add-ons. There's going to be a mini expansion that you'll be able to get for free for this game as part of the Kickstarter as well. It's going to be cool.
Awesome. And Dawn of Ulos has started fulfilling.
Yeah, definitely. Dawn of Ulos was a Kickstarter that we did last year, and that is hitting people's doorsteps within the last week in the U.S. Fulfillment is done actually in a lot of regions already. That was targeted. We basically delivered it about a month early for people, which is kind of unusual, I think, for a Kickstarter product. And that game is going to retail in August. So backers just got their copies, and it's coming to retail in August. And we have a few copies here at the show to sell. That is a fantasy economic game, which is a little unusual. But it's definitely that one also plays 1 to 5 players. And you are playing as gods of this fantasy world, and there's different fantasy races that are kind of entering from other dimensions, and you play as a god kind of manipulating how the land is developed, and when they come into conflict, who is the victor in those conflicts as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I got 1 play in before I headed out for Origins, and it's fantastic. It's a derivative, similar in a lot of ways to Acquire, Sid Saxon's classic. And it definitely belongs on my shelf next to that. So.
Awesome, yeah. Yeah, definitely that was an inspiration. It shares some of the same DNA as that game, but comes from a different angle, not only in terms of theme, but there's a lot of variability in terms of the way that they're set up, because you play with 5 different races in play each game, and there's 10 different ones in the box. They all have special abilities, and the way kind of combat is resolved is a lot different than the way acquisitions are resolved, acquire, stuff like that. So, but it has some of that feel for sure.
Definitely, and the card play mixes it up. That you don't have someone sitting there for half the game like an Acquire with no money. So
yeah, that's the worst.
It's fantastic.
That's the worst.
You guys got to check it out. All right, so that was Keith Matejka from Thunderworks Games talking about Stonespine Architects that is heading to Kickstarter on July 11th. He also mentioned Dawn of Ulos, a fantastic game. If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you know that I grew up playing tons of Acquire. So I've been super excited to get Dawn of Ulos, a recent Kickstarter that just fulfilled for Thunderworks Games. I've only got 1 play in, but it definitely belongs on my shelf next to Acquire, and I can't wait to get some more plays in. So next up, I'm going to be talking to a couple of guys from Paverson Games, Dave Beck, the designer of Distilled, and Eric Evanson, the artist of Distilled. All right, so I'm here with Dave and Eric from Paverson Games, and they're going to tell us a little bit about Distilled.
Yeah, thanks. Really excited to be here at Origins. Distilled is the first ever strategy game about making whiskey, gin, rum. It's a card-based game with some mitigate your luck mechanics, some recipe fulfillment, as well as some resource management and tableau building. And we kickstarted in 2021, raising just over $500,000. And this is our first con in the US that we're able to actually have it available for people to play and purchase.
Awesome. And what's the play length and?
Yeah, it's about
target audience, I guess.
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes per player, 1 to 5 players. So it's got a solo mode as well. It's about a medium weight, around a 3 on the BGG scale. We deliberately came up with a second rule book that actually walks players through the first round, because we know there's some whiskey lovers out there that might not necessarily be board gamers, and we hope that that's going to help onboard them to get a better taste for the game itself.
Awesome. Kind of provide a gateway experience.
Exactly.
Help them into it.
Yeah.
Cool. Is Distilled like is it an expandable game, or is it a game that you have plans to expand eventually on? Or?
Yeah, so we have the base game that we worked on, and I should say, so I did the design for the work, but Eric with me did all the graphic design and the art for the game. We have one expansion already released that is actually available right now too, and it'll be in retail probably in about 6 months. That's Africa and the Middle East expansion. And then we've got another one coming out in the next couple months. It's going to be called Cast Strength. It's going to make it a little bit crunchier of a game for those that want that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I love the look of it. It's a beautiful game. So
yeah, that was a big reason I reached out to Eric, because I love his art style. He's also an amazing graphic designer. And it's actually, I always talk about him as a unicorn. It's very hard to find someone that can do both of those. So I'm going to pass it to Eric now, because he can probably comment a little bit on that.
Yeah, I do like to think that I'm one of my strengths is being able to blend graphic design and illustration pretty well. Luckily, the game industry is a place where that's important, and so I feel like that's a place where the couple of forays I've done into that world seem to have worked out pretty well for me, I guess.
Cool. Was it a design that you kind of just felt natural right away, or did it go back to the drawing board a bunch of times?
Yeah, we talked about kind of what the overall look of the game was going to be, and I remember trying a couple different art styles in sketch form, and I really wanted to like fully paint it. Like, it just seemed like that was appropriate. My background is mostly in comic book illustration.
Oh, okay,
so
awesome.
A lot of what I'm used to is line art with digital finishes and or digital colors, I should say. And I did that with a previous game, Marrying Mr. Darcy, that I worked on. But I wanted to kind of do something different with this and have a big piece that was fully painted. And so that's kind of where that came about. We tried to balance like some sort of expressiveness and character stuff with more high-end textures and painted elements that would evoke the I guess the high-end experience of a fine Scotch whiskey.
For people that are fans of whiskey, fans of board games, fans of attention to detail, I think you'll really appreciate this game. There's lots of little, I'd say almost Easter eggs, largely thanks to Eric and some of the things he's done with the characters. You might recognize some hints of characters from popular culture. We don't say it, we don't slap it in your face at all, but there's some of that. There's a lot of diversity that we've tried to infuse in the game as well. So again, really quite a lot of attention to detail. Largely, I think that also comes from us both being professors at a university, wanting to educate, wanting to inform,
that's awesome.
but also a background in art, knowing that that's an important part of a game's experience as well.
Cool. And then did you have something else there?
Yeah, I did. I was going to say, I think one of the things that I'm proud of what we did with this game is it's the theming. Like, we both thought so hard about theming it from mechanics through, like, typography, like, all the way down. I think it's one of the defining characteristics of it. So if you like games that are heavily themed, I think this is one for you.
Awesome. And it sounds like you guys have another game upcoming, Luthier.
Yeah, so that's going to be the next game from Paverson Games, Luthier, The Art of the Instrument. It's going to be a little bit heavier than Distilled, about a 3.5 on the BGG scale, but also equally heavily themed. So Luthier means that you are a stringed instrument maker or repair person. In this, we are taking it to another level where it's maybe brass and woodwinds instruments, pianos, keyboards, drums. So the players are essentially working as families in the golden age of classical music, crafting different instruments for patrons. We're really excited about it. It's got a hidden bidding worker placement method to it with the mechanics, as well as some recipe fulfillment and tableau building and resource management, just like Distilled does. And then finally, we're also really excited to have Vincent Dutrait's going to be the artist for the game as well.
Awesome.
So
cool.
He's going to be painting lots of portraits, as well as lots of, obviously, instruments and other things too.
Fantastic. That sounds awesome. And so when do you plan on launching that?
That we're hoping around this time next year. It's going to be on Kickstarter, so May or June next year. So look for that. We will be at Gen Con showing the game off a little bit this year, as well as obviously all at the cons next year too.
Awesome. That sounds great. We're looking forward to it, and I'm excited to check Distilled out a little bit more. And sounds like a fantastic game. Sounds like you guys have some good things coming, and I hope you have a great show. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks a lot.
So these guys are awesome. Dave was nice enough to send me home with a review copy of Distilled, so you'll definitely be hearing more about that game in the future. I haven't played it yet, but I did open it up to punch it and to sleeve it, and the art is beautiful. The components are fantastic, and the game looks awesome. I'm really excited to get that to the table in the near future. I didn't get audio of this, but I did ask them about, for Luthier, if they had a musical expert, and Dave said that he had just hired on a musicologist, I believe it's called, a guy with a PhD in classical music and also a board gamer. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm definitely excited, like I said, to check out Distilled and Luthier. Looking forward to Gen Con and hopefully getting a preview of that. Next up is Evan Derrick from Van Ryder Games. Van Ryder Games, of course, recently fulfilled Final Girl Season 2, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that, and then a little bit about the upcoming Season 3.
Hey, I'm Evan Derrick with Van Ryder Games, and we are very excited about Series 2 of Final Girl. Final Girl is our award-winning hit solo horror movie simulator. We've got Series 2 here. This is the debut of Series 2 of Final Girl in the United States. It's the first time it's available publicly for retail. Our backers just got it within the last couple weeks. But we have just announced Final Girl Series 3, and the Kickstarter will be September 18th.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's when we start. With the specific plan that it will end on October the 13th.
Oh, that's
which
so cool.
happens to be a Friday.
Okay,
So
sweet.
the Kickstarter will end on Friday the 13th. So we've been announcing some of the new feature films that are coming out. So we're really excited about that. We are debuting Moments. Moments is a standalone game / expansion for
Keepers, right?
Keepers. That's exactly right. Keepers, which features all the photography of our sales manager, Byron Jajorian. He's like award-winning photographer. The artwork's gorgeous. The photos are gorgeous. It's a great, fun little party game. And then we're also debuting another quick little game called Gourmet Popcorn Dice, which is like a 2-minute filler. Bam, awesome. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Lots of fun, something to play between sessions, and it's great. So we had popcorn dice, and now we've got gourmet popcorn dice.
Sweet.
Which adds some twists to it.
I'll have to check that out. Going back to Final Girl 3, does anything changing up other than adding new feature films?
Well, there are new feature films we've announced. Let's see which ones we've announced. The title of one is The Killer from Tomorrow. Another title is Hell to Pay.
Okay.
And then the third title that's just been announced is The Merrick Murders. And, of course, each of them will have their own new mechanisms and stuff. We do have some pretty fun surprises for the Kickstarter.
Okay, awesome.
But nothing we can say right now. But we have one surprise that we're going to reveal, which is probably the most excited I've been and the hardest it's been to keep a secret.
Okay.
With this project. So
nice.
We haven't said only our internal team knows. We didn't even share with our play testers. No one knows what we're doing and what's coming, and we're really, really excited. We think people are gonna lose it when we announce this.
Awesome. I'm excited. That sounds super cool. Will Season 1 and Season 2 decked out versions be available as part of the Kickstarter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Season 1, Season 2, pretty much almost all the stuff will be available. It's getting There's getting to be so, which I'm very thankful that the game is popular enough that we can keep making stuff for it and people want it, and that I love that. But there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there is. So I actually, we backed season 1 and season 2. We bought an extra starter deck set or whatever.
The core box?
Yeah, the core box. And so my wife and I will play side by side different feature films at the same time. Season 1 and
that's awesome.
And one of us will play season 2. But
that's awesome.
I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, very much. Thank you very much, Tyler.
Well, I know something that we'll be backing in September. Can't wait to see Final Girls Season 3 or Series 3. We still need to get the other two to the table more, but that is a fantastic solo experience, and I can't wait to see what Van Ryder Games has coming for Series 3. So next up is Shoma Gal? Not sure the pronunciation on that, from Mindclash Games. I had the opportunity to demo Perseverance Episode 3. Steve, one of the guys that's always in their booth teaching games at cons, was awesome, and I'm excited for this one. All right, I'm here with Shoma from Mindclash Games, and he's going to talk a little bit about Perseverance and some of the other exciting projects Mindclash has coming.
Hello everyone, so we are here at Origins and we are first looking Perseverance Episode 3. But of course Episode 3 and 4 will be coming together this fall to GameFound for the first time in our history of crowdfunding. And we are showcasing and demoing Perseverance 3, which is very close to final development. We are confident that this won't change anymore until this fall, until the campaign starts. And the evolving mechanics and all the Chronicle mode, we have an epic conclusion here with these events after 8 years of development so far. Besides that, we are also showcasing Astra, which is the first of the Mindclash Play product line, which is a much lighter family or casual gamer friendly type of games. And also we are in the works for the second product of that line, which is with the codename Project Leaf, and we will reveal some more info about that during this year.
Okay, awesome. Will we hear some more at Gen Con about that, or maybe later on in the year a little bit?
Later on, let's say we don't have a definite date for that for the public, but definitely this year. Gen Con will be probably more about getting all the audience for Perseverance as well.
Okay, cool. And Voidfall and Septima are on their way soon, right?
Absolutely. Voidfall is currently on ships and heading its way to the US and EU. And Septima is very much just prepping and wrapping up the works on production. We just confirmed the NPC a day ago or so.
Awesome.
So we are starting assembly, and we are looking to fulfill Voidfall during August and fulfill Septima in September. So it will be a pretty busy month ahead of us.
That's awesome. They both look amazing, and I can't wait to get them played. So I'm excited. Thank you, Shoma, for your time, and hope you have a great show.
Thanks, and have a great show with us.
Thanks. So, like I said, I got a 2-hour demo of Perseverance Episode 3. I mentioned Steve, who taught the demo. I thought it was interesting that he said this was by far the easiest of the 3 episodes to teach, and it was probably the most streamlined of the 3. I kind of felt that just in my one partial play of it. We played episode 1 and 2 quite a bit, and we did a feature review a number of episodes ago. And episode 1 was a little bit of a miss for me. Episode 2 was pretty awesome. So I'm excited to see what comes from Perseverance Episode 3. I'm also excited to learn more about Leaf, as it's codenamed for the next Mindclash Play game. Astra, the first one, was fantastic, and I think it's so cool that Mindclash, which has very complex and heavy games, that they're also starting to release some a little bit lighter games that still have some great strategy and decisions, and of course their amazing production. So that was Mindclash Games. All right, so next up is Mark Spector from Grand Gamers Guild. He is the second to last soundbite that I have for you. He's going to tell you about a newer game called Ahau. Beautiful art. I've opened it up and I've punched it. It looks awesome. Excited to play this one. It was one of the games that I saw and just felt like I needed to have it in my collection. It looks like it belongs on the shelf right next to Tuantinsuyu and Teotihuacan. It looks beautiful, and I'm excited to get it played. All right, so I'm here with Mark from Grand Gamers Guild to talk about Ahau. All right, can you tell me about this game, Mark?
Sure. Ahau is probably our heaviest game. It is a Euro, where your goal is to become the chief leader of the Mayan civilization. It is territory control, area majority. There's a little bit of bidding and some engine building. Essentially, on a turn, what you're going to do is try to gain purchase in one of the territories that's on a board. Once you battle it out with your competitors in a very simple mechanic of strength, you're going to get to recruit one of the gods, which you'll eventually install into your temple, eventually invoking their powers to take special actions and gain a spot at their temple, which you'll score at the end of every round. And basically build up the glory of the civilization along the way. You're going to be building buildings. There's also resource management as you surround territories and surround farms and quarries that produce different types of things. Plays in about 90 minutes to 2 hours, and yeah.
It looks like it's available here at Origins.
It is.
When will it be available on the street, I guess?
It basically just got fulfilled to Kickstarter backers last week, and it'll be released into your friendly local game store probably July, I think. No, that's a lie. October is our official release date. Okay. I remember now.
Awesome. And do you have any other games that you're excited about or want to mention?
I'm excited about all my titles. But our new releases for the show are the second edition of the Artemis Project, along with the Satellites and Commanders expansion, and then the standalone sequel called the Artemis Odyssey.
Okay.
Also a highly interactive Euro, but with a totally different set of mechanics. And then finally, the Turkey Trial, which is number 7 in our Holiday Hijinks line of 18-card, holiday-themed escape room games.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks.
Definitely check those out.
Thanks for letting me bumble through this.
All right, thanks. So I don't know a lot about Artemis Project, but I definitely need to check that out. I will be talking more about Ahau in the future as I get it played. Last up is Andrew from the Op, and Andrew was awesome. I think I only had one mic out at the time, and he just started talking about his games, and they've got some really exciting new titles coming out from the Op and some that I'm really excited about. So here is Andrew. I'm here with Andrew from the Op. He's going to tell us about some of the upcoming games and current games.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. Andrew, Director of Product Marketing at the Op. Super excited to share some of our stuff from Origins 2023. The first game we're taking a look at here is Mismatch. So this is a very light family party game. So in the vein of a Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, if you've heard of that game before. So at the beginning of the game, you will choose one of 4 categories: food, color, mood, or animal. And then you're going to flip from the deck of cards until there is an immediate match, one after the other. So, for our audio listeners, I'm flipping some cards. You'd flip over cards from this deck until you would make a match. I did not set this deck up, so we will see if we make one of an animal. Let's say we did blue. So, blue and blue. And then we'd slap it and get the pile, right? So very simple, very quick, $9.99 MSRP, just a game that's like, hey, you're having a game night. This is the perfect game to kind of just start with, right? So super excited for Mismatch. This is available now. So super excited for people to get their hands on that one. So now we're taking a look at one of our newer party games as well, What the Cup. So What the Cup is a game for 3 to 6 players, and it is kind of a mix of liar's dice with an even more bluffing. So at the beginning of every round, everybody will have a cup in front of them that has a 12-sided die. And at the beginning of the round, you'll shake up your cup, and you can look at your die at any time. So you'll ante one of your chips into the middle, and then there'll be a deck of cards. And the deck of cards will have things to do. So when you flip over one of the cards, it might say, pass your cup, thank you. This one says either ante a chip or re-roll your die. So you'll see cards like that, and you can either do what's on the card, or you can flip that high-low token, because at the end of the round, your die is either going to have to be the lowest or the highest. So it's a great ebb and flow, and especially with this group, a lot of bluffing and things like that. So it's moving the cup around, and again, a great party game, a great game to bring to like an event or a bar or something like that. Super, super cool. Super excited for that one. That one is available on our website right now. Stepping over here, we have Disney Sorcerer's Arena. So this is one of our hobby games. So in Disney Sorcerer's Arena is a 2 or 4 player skirmish game where you are building teams of 3 and battling one another, right? So on this demo, we have Gaston, Robin Hood, and Mrs. Potts versus Mulan, Aladdin, and Ariel. So a very fun combination of teams. The game is a race to 20 victory points, and you'll either get victory points by knocking out your opponent characters. So you can see here, Robin Hood is worth 6 victory points if you knock him out, or beginning your turn on one of these 3 victory point spaces. So there's a little bit of a king of the hill element there, right? Do you start your turn on that space and risk being, beaten up a little bit more? Or do you put yourself in a better positioning? Every character is asymmetrical, so they all have unique abilities and different movement values and health and things like that. And every character can also be upgraded to do an even stronger ability, which is awesome. And every character comes with a unique 10-card deck that you're basically mixing together to make a 30-card deck, and that's how you move and play the game. So, super exciting game. Our 4th expansion for this game, At the Ready, that features Mulan, Mrs. Potts, and Robin Hood, is going to be available at Gen Con. And right now we have the core set available, which includes 8 characters, as well as 3 expansions, which include another 12 characters. So we're already up to 20 characters, and many more to come. The next game we're taking a look at is another in our hobby line. This is Express Route. So this is a little bit of twist on Pick Up and Deliver. This is a cooperative Pick Up and Deliver game. So you guys are working together to deliver the future. So in this game, everybody will be controlling these 4 vehicles, 3 mock jets, and then 1 airplane. And at the beginning of the game, everything can move 1, and you can load 1 package. So these packages are going to come onto the board, and they'll either be low demand or high demand. And when a package comes onto the board, the demand track goes up. And if the demand track goes up too high, you lose the game. But when you deliver a package, the demand track will go down. So there's a great tug-of-war aspect of going up and down the demand track. As you deliver packages, you'll put them up on that top track. And your goal is to deliver 4, 6, 8 packages. The first 4 are easily done. The last 2, we have 16 unique objectives that'll be random every time you play. So in this demo, it's you need 2 packages with an odd demand value. So 1, 3, or 5, or 2 with a same destination city. The last elements are there are operators that are available that all have asymmetric powers. So they'll have a special things on setup as well as special abilities that you can do on your turn. And then the final wrinkle is that you can spend packages that you've already delivered to upgrade your abilities. And you're really going to want to do that because when you upgrade your abilities, it'll let you do more things. But that's good and bad, right? Because you're spending an already delivered package. So that's delaying you winning the game, but it's helping you be better to hopefully win the game quicker. So this game is also played solo, which is great. So, it plays 1 to 4 players, and the game also comes with 20 unique scenarios. So this is the base game, but there are other scenarios that'll add operators to the game or, different upgrades and things like that. So a Gen Con 2023 release, and we're super excited about that one. And then the last ones that I want to talk about we have 2 more in our hobby line of games coming out. The Perfect Wave, Surf Your Way to Greatness, that is a hand management kind of run-based game. So you're trying to make the perfect wave. You'll have wave cards in your hand that are numbered from 1 to a certain number, and you're trying to put them in a sequential order while you're also playing trick cards on top of them and trying to get more points and complete objectives. Awesome theme, awesome artwork. And then finally, we have the Art Project. Perfect Wave will be out at Gen Con 2023. The Art Project is another game of our hobby games. Vincent Dutrait Art, very excited for this one. So this is a cooperative 1 to 6 player game. And in that game, the White Hand, no relation to the Blackfoot, have stolen a bunch of art. And it is your job to reclaim that art. So you guys will be working together, playing cards from your hand. There's a little bit of hidden information. So on every turn, you'll have 2 cards in your hand. You have to play one, and then the other is going to basically be added to this tableau. And you're trying to reclaim this art from these thieves and stuff like that. For Essen release, super excited about that one. And then from the op, we're also known for our party family games, Telestrations, Hues and Cues, another great one, Tapple. Awesome party games that are really great for any occasion. You know, one of the great things about the op is no matter what type of gamer you are, there's something for everyone. So we're super excited there.
So all of those look like great games from the op. I got a demo with Jason of What the Cup, and that was a lot of fun. I'll definitely be getting that one. The Art Project one looked really good. It was beautiful. The Vincent Dutrait art was amazing. And Jason, who grew up in Hawaii, was really excited about the Perfect Wave. So some cool things there from the op. And thanks to Andrew. That wraps up the sound bites that I have from Origins. Like I said, it was a great trip. But let's get back to the table. All right. Should we talk about some of the games that we've been playing lately?
Let's do it.
Sure.
All right. I'm going to go first. So I got one of the games that I got a review copy of at Origins is 800-Pound Gorilla from Dolphin Hat Games.
Love Dolphin Hat Games.
Yeah.
They're
Taco,
great.
cat, goat, cheese, pizza,
Yep,
elf,
Santa cookie, elf, candy, snowman.
Yeah, something like that.
A lot harder to figure that one out.
I feel like I added an extra one in there. I don't know.
Igloo.
Krampus. Yeah. Oh, a Krampus version of that.
So
Horror version. Yeah. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
800-pound gorilla?
800-pound gorilla. Yeah.
Let's talk about the 800-pound.
This is designed by Dave Campbell II, who also designed Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. And Give Me That and a bunch of their other games. Okay, so 800-Pound Gorilla. This is in the same flavor of Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. You set up this little board that has a spinner. You'll take turns flipping the spinner, and it'll land on one of 5 things, okay? There's a stack of cards that will have some type of action or thing that you have to say if it lands on either bananas or coconuts, okay? These are also the victory point cards when you flip them over. So you flip the spinner. If it lands on banana and the little card says taco, 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 you have to yell out taco, 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 and be one of the people that grabs the banana, okay? There's 2 bananas on the table, little foam, cushiony bananas, and then there's a couple coconuts or more, depending on the player count. If it lands on coconuts, same thing. You have to do the activity, say the thing, or do whatever it tells you to do, like, what's this called? Dabbing. Yes, that one. Mm-hmm. Have to do that and grab the coconuts. If you are one of the people that grabs the banana or the coconuts safely before your opponents, then you get victory point cards, okay? There are 3 other slots it can land on. There's a large gorilla, a medium gorilla, and a small gorilla. If it lands on the large gorilla, there's a bunch of cards around the player board in values from 700 to 800 on the back of them. They're lying face up where you can see the gorilla, but you can't see the gorilla's weight. So if it lands on the largest gorilla, you're going to hurry and pick a gorilla card that you think is largest. And once you put your finger down on it, you can't pick your finger up and pick a different one. once everybody's picked a gorilla card, you flip them over. Whoever has the biggest gorilla in this case will score 2 points. Whoever has the second biggest will score 1 point.
So timing matters in this, and that you're trying to select one fast, but you want the largest one as well?
Yes. Okay. So, and if you're the last one to pick, maybe you take your time and kind of look around. The cards are disheveled, spread around the board, so it's hard to see. And there's some optical illusions with bananas being in front and behind, and trying to distort the size of the gorilla. So if it's lands on the smallest gorilla, you're trying to pick the smallest. If it lands on the medium gorilla, you throw out the largest and the smallest gorilla's cards, and whoever has the gorilla cards in the middle scores points. So
banana for reference is not very good in this one. It doesn't do banana for scale.
Was that a joke?
That was a joke.
It was.
It was a great joke. It was
you always put banana for scale
in any picture you take.
In a picture.
I'm not a photographer, so
some people put like
that's
baby,
amazing.
Baby for scale or something.
Yeah,
right.
Cthulhu Death May Die statue.
Yeah, people put babies by that.
Or they put a banana next to it to show how big the Cthulhu statue is.
Look at pictures of the statue on Board Game Geek, I bet somebody put a banana for scale. Well, I'm looking on Miniature Market because I will own this game eventually. It's up for pre-order.
Cool.
So
yeah, it was really fun. I think I still like Taco Cat better. But it has some of that same feel to it where you're racing to do something before everybody else does and grab the items instead of slapping your hand down on the cards. Yeah, so that is 800-pound gorilla. Once all the gorilla cards are gone, or once the point cards are gone, the stack of point cards that tell you what to do, the game ends and whoever has the most points wins. Simple, fun party game, or a good way to kick off a game night. 800-pound gorilla from Dolphin Hat Games. And, it was awesome. We talked to Sean, I think his name's Sean Alexander, last year. He gave us a bunch of review copies last year.
Yeah, like there's a bacon game, Still the Bacon.
Yeah, Gimme That, the potato one.
Yep, Gimme That was another one. Both, great games. My family loves playing those. So
so
they do well on that style of game.
They do,
for sure. They're all a lot of fun.
Yeah. So it was cool to see him again and get a review copy of this, and that was super nice of him. And we're gonna keep playing this one as a family. We played it as 3-player. I'm excited to try it with more players. And
what's the player count go up to?
It is 3 to 6.
Oh, okay, so a good sized little party game.
Yeah, playing
up to 6 is always great. For
10 to 15 minutes. Honestly, I don't see why you couldn't play it with 8 players. There's nothing unique to a player, or
other than the place gets crowded with fingers jabbing at gorillas and stuff like that.
I guess
it's not a Dolphin Hat game.
There's not enough coconuts for everybody, but
it's not a Dolphin Hat game if you're not bleeding
breaking
or breaking a finger, something like that.
Yeah. All in fun, all in good fun.
Oh, absolutely. That's what makes the games fun. Yeah.
So that's gorillas, bananas, and coconuts. 800-pound gorilla.
I like it. My game is not about gorillas, but it is about camels.
Oh.
Yeah. So this game I've been playing on BGA recently, and it is Jaipur. This is designed by Sebastian Pichon, I believe. Artist is Vincent Dutrait with Alexander Roche, and it is published by GameWorks. So this is a 2-player only game. You have 55 goods cards in the game. So the goods cards are you've got diamonds, you've got gold, you've got silver, cloth, spice, leather, and then there's a bunch of camels in the game as well. So you shuffle up these cards, you get a hand of cards to start the game. Any camels that you have in your hand are going to be placed face down. The goal of the game is to win 2 rounds, and the person who wins 2 rounds first wins the game. There are a bunch of these little discs that have numbers on them. They're higher numbers on the top, lower numbers on the bottom, and they match the different types of cards in the game. So you're trying to get more of these discs and these bonus discs as well throughout the game. So the game plays very easy. You either take cards or you sell cards. If you take cards, you can always take one card from the middle of this display of 5 cards. If you take a card, then you replace that card in the middle, and there's a new good or a new camel that comes up. You can exchange cards. So if you exchange cards, you have to exchange at least 2 cards. You take cards from your hand or camels, and you replace 2 to 5 cards from the middle, and then you take those cards into your hand. Or you can sell cards. So if you sell cards, you have to sell one of any of the types of goods. So let's say I have 3 gold. I discard those gold, and then I get the next 3 tokens in the gold stack. So like I said before, the ones that are taken first are more valuable than the ones that are taken last. Okay. So you play the round until either 3 of these stacks of tokens are gone, or you cannot replace a card into the middle row that you're taking cards from. Then you count up all of the tokens that you have. Whoever has the most points for that round is going to be the winner of the round. There's bonus tokens that you can get. So if you trade in or sell 3 of one good, then there's a stack of these bonus tokens that you would take the top one, and there's a certain number when you flip it over, right? It's going to be variable. The biggest token you can get is if you sell 5 of one good, then you get the 5 bonus token, and that's a lot of points. So you're trying to do that. Really quick, really easy, but there's a lot of fun decisions in this game. The camels, like I said, they're in front of you. They allow you to exchange cards more easily that you need, right? And get cards into your hand. So you need camels. The thing is, if you take a camel from the middle row, you have to take all of the camels. And that will potentially give your opponent the chance to get one of the high value cards, and then they will trade or take that card and put it into their hand. So you could flip over a diamond, for example, and they're collecting diamonds. Then they can cash those in for a big, payday on the diamond stack. So there's a little bit of luck. There's some pressure luck. There's, camel management, and it's a quick game that plays in about 30 minutes. It's a lot of fun, and it's one that I've been enjoying quite a bit.
I own this game, and I have not played this game in years, but I remember when I first started playing this was a game my wife would play with me, and she really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really clever, quick to play, quick and simple game that has a lot of depth for somebody who enjoys the strategy and games while still being accessible to people who may not be as interested in playing hobby board games. So I really have fond memories of playing this game, and with you talking about it makes me think that I should try and bring this in front of my wife again and see if she'd be willing to play it.
Yeah, it is a simple rule set, but like you said, you can introduce people that don't play games to this game, and I think they'll enjoy it. But then it's got enough strategic depth that if you are a seasoned gamer, there's something there, right? And it's fun for people who play a lot of games as well. So I like it.
I haven't played it, but I would love to try it on BGA. I was looking at the designer's credentials or creds or his other published works. I noticed he did Yaspahan, the other camel game I mentioned last episode. Yeah.
He's got a camel theme.
Yeah. I played that one with Timbo Mojo from our Discord.
Sobek too?
He did Sobek 2-player with Bruno Cathala, I think.
Oh.
Which I also love. I'm in a game right now on BGA with that. I really enjoy Sobek 2-players.
And does Sobek have camels, or is it just Egyptian themed?
I think it's just Egyptian themed.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing any camels.
Because that would be a funny theme to latch yourself onto as a designer.
Yeah.
I only design camel games.
Yeah, right? It's like, I only do bird games. This guy does camel games.
Yeah, right. That would be awesome. I had no complaints, but
yeah. He's got his name's on Skyrise, which is coming.
Oh yeah.
That's
Roxley Games.
Roxley,
publishing
yeah.
that, and both you, Tyler, and I backed that. I'm excited. We just got an update on that one, and I'm excited.
Oh, we did. What was the update?
That they're close to production, and they've finished the molds of the buildings and stuff. So,
nice. You guys both backed that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I jumped on Tyson's
Pledge man.
Pledge, yes. Yeah. I wanted to say bid, but it wasn't a bid. It's a pledge.
No, because you actually get something.
Words
Bid
are
is-
hard tonight for me. Yeah, so cool.
Yeah,
Jaipur,
so
I want to
that's
try this one.
Jaipur. So yeah, it's on BGA, so it's super easy to jump into, and it's not hard to learn the rules. So yeah, let's get some games going.
Cool. Tyson, what have you been playing lately?
Well, my game does not have camels. Instead, it does have nature and animals. And you mentioned birds, Tyler. There are birds in Trails. So the Trails is a game designed by Henry Audubon and published by Keymaster Games. And I can't help but think of Ghostbusters whenever I think of Keymaster Games. But hey,
Do I understand that reference?
Joke?
I
don't know.
The Keymaster. Are you the gatekeeper?
Oh yeah, okay.
That must have been after my time.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, okay. You are old and ancient,
Yes. Not as old as other people.
Okay. Moving on. How's your game, Tyson?
Great. So Trails is not Ghostbusters, and it's a lot newer. It was published in 2021. This is, if you've seen the Parks game, this is in that same type of series of games, and it has the same style of artwork. It follows this nature theme, essentially, and I think that we've talked about in the past how there's a lot of games that have kind of started in this kind of naturey, kind of earthy vibe, and that's essentially what this is. But in this game, what you're doing is every game you set the game up with these little tiles, and each tile is a stop on a trail that you can walk. Every trail starts with the trailhead and ends with the trail end, but the 5 or so tiles in between are just randomly placed on the board in a straight line, and you get to stop in these destinations. Each one of these destinations has some sort of resource you can collect: leaves, acorns, rocks on the trail that you pick up, or you can take pictures in certain destinations or make exchanges on for resources. Also on the trail is wildlife. So there's a little bear token that goes on, and it travels along. And if you stop at a wildlife spot, you see a bear, and then you roll the bear dice. And this is a friendly bear, so it doesn't do anything to harm you at all. I was thinking that when I first started playing this game, I was like, oh, a bear.
He's going to eat me.
I'm in trouble. But
Is
no,
this why people think they can walk up to bears
is
at
the concern
Yellowstone
I
and be
have.
Oh my
like,
gosh.
yeah, we
Or
stay away
bison
from bear.
or
yes.
Gosh.
This is why you need to bring bear spray and tie your food up. This is the PSA for this episode. Don't camp and play with the bears. But in Trails, you do play with the bears.
Well said.
On the fly. That was awesome.
That was pretty good. That was perfect.
In Trails, though, yes, we do play with the bears because they're a good thing. Because essentially what happens is when you land on a space with a bear, you get to take the action of the space. But in addition, you roll the wildlife die. And the die has faces on it that represent different locations on the trail, and the bear will move to one of those locations, allowing you to do an additional action of wherever the bear lands. There's also, so there are 5 different trail spots that it can go to, and it's a 6-sided die. So that one of the side of the dice is a bear side, which means that you can place it wherever you want to take the resources you want. Essentially, this is, I believe, it doesn't say this in the BGG page description mechanics, but I think this is probably the most distilled down version of a pick up and deliver game, because what you're doing is you're going to destinations and picking stuff up, and then once you get to either the trailhead or the trail end, there are badges that you can cash in for. So think of them like contracts and pick up and deliver style games where they have simple requirements for have this many resources, have X amount of leaves and X amount of stones, and you can collect this badge. The badges are what makes this game interesting, though, because you can do kind of compounding effects sometimes, and they'll allow you to get discounts and purchase more. You can purchase as many badges as you have. There are 2 badges at the trailhead and 2 at the trail end. And you also will always have a badge in your hand. So maximum, when you get to a trailhead or a trail end, you can purchase up to 3 badges if you can manage your resources correctly.
Did you say there's combos?
There are some kind of combos in it, and so, like
because anytime combos, my ears perk up a little bit.
These are simple combos.
Okay.
This is not like a Luciani.
I started
kind
listening
of combo.
once you said combos.
This is not like a Messina kind of combos or things like this. These are very basic. So think of like, hey, if I buy this card, it's going to have a reduction of the cost for acorns on this particular card, which means that if I buy this one first, then it enables me to have enough resources to buy the next one. So it's very light on combos, but it did make some interesting decisions.
Cool.
Anyway, you're going throughout the game, going back and forth on this trail. And as you're doing that, the sun is setting, and each trail space can flip over to a night side. On the night side, it's a more powerful action, so you want to get to the night sides as you go through it. But once the sun reaches the trail head, it goes back and starts to go through the trail end. And that only happens, the sun only moves every time somebody reaches the trail end. So you're going back and forth multiple times on this line of tiles throughout the game to essentially collect stuff and cash in for rewards. And it's a very basic game. That's basically the extent of the game. And there's not a lot else that goes on in this game, but it's cute. It's fun. It was a good experience. I like it. I'd play this again, especially if you're in nature or camping or something like that. I could see this one being a really fun one.
Yeah.
But watch out for the bears.
Yeah. It's funny. I was just going to mention that. Like, you look on the BGG page and the images, and it's people playing trails on trails.
Yep. Right.
It's funny. People do that all the time, like people playing Santorini. You know?
Yeah. Carcassonne by Carcassonne.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is exactly, I think, perfect for that. And it's a very small kind of package, so it's very portable. And
put it in a backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like the art style. It's very comfortable.
Yes.
And also beautiful. I've only played Parks once on BGA, but I had to look to see if it was Trails or Parks. It was Parks that we played.
Parks that we played.
I just looked it up as well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's no Trails on there, but there's Parks.
Yeah.
So between the two, though, Parks is a little bit more complex. Not to say that Parks itself is complex.
Yeah.
But if you were looking for like complexity level and you want more game out of it, you're going to get more game out of Parks than you get out of Trails. But they're both fairly light. But yeah, that's Trails by Keymaster Games.
You mentioned collecting stones, and the next game that I'm going to talk about has stones in it. It is Shobu. Have you guys played this one?
Oh, I've wanted to play this. I have not.
Okay, so
I have not played it either.
This is from Smirk and Laughter Games. It came out in 2019. The designer is Jamie Sajak and Manolis Varanis. I apologize. So in this game, you have 4 wooden boards, and there's a rope that goes in between the 2 boards closest to you and the 2 boards closest to your opponent. The 2 boards on each side, one of them is light and one of them's dark. And on each board, you have 4 stones and your opponent has 4 stones. It's a 2-player game. Your goal is to knock all 4 stones off of one of the boards of the other player. So whoever does that first wins the game. And it doesn't matter, I could have someone down to 2 stones or 1 stone on 4 boards, but if they knock 4 stones off of one of my boards, I lose, okay, and they win. So it's really cool. So you get to do 2 moves, and the first one is a passive move. So you can move any of your stones on the 2 boards closest to you, 1 or 2 spaces in any direction. If I do my passive action and move a stone on the dark board, then I now need to do my second action on one of the light boards. It's a passive movement because you cannot bump the other player's stones off the board with your first action. However, your second action, which you're mimicking the movement of the first stone you moved, you can now bump the player off. Or the player's stones off. However, you have to follow the rules of my first move is on dark, the second move has to be on light. It can be on my side of the table or it can be on the opposing side. So there is this very tactical decision making going on about which stone to move that will correspond with the move that I really want to do, or that will set up a later move. So I played this with Jason. We played 3 back-to-back-to-back games at Origins, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. The game plays in about 15, 20 minutes. You're just moving stones, countering the other player's actions. There are times where like you want to move your stones in a certain direction on one board, but all of your stones
Are blocked out.
are already on that side. Like say if I want to move a stone to the right, but they're already all the way to the right from the passive board that I would play from. So there's lots of things to think about, and you're trying to set up your moves in a way that you're kind of hiding what you really want to do. And there are ways to do that just by, moving a stone that might be in danger, but you're moving it into a spot that is going to benefit you on the next turn, right? Or doing things that are a little bit distracting, like, oh, I'm going after this stone, but really you're moving your passive stone into place that it needs to be so that you can do the action that you need to with that. So you're trying to knock off 4 stones off of one of the boards first. Really fun, really quick game. It reminds me a little bit of Boop, which is also from Smirk and Laughter Games. I would much rather play this game over Boop, but I also enjoy Boop.
It's a prettier game for
It
sure.
is,
It looks really good.
Yeah, and I have some American walnut, black walnut left over from my game table upstairs, and I kind of want to just make my own boards out of
That's
some
what
of
I was
that
gonna
leftover wood.
That's what I was going to say. It looks pretty easy to make on your own, and you could probably. I think a lot of people have done that. I'm looking at pictures on BGG, and a lot of people have done that. What is the rope? Did you explain the rope?
It's just there as a divider, but you don't need it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it provides no
gameplay effects or benefits.
I think it's just there to divide the boards and like, hey, your first action has to be on your side of the rope. The second one can be on your side of the rope or on the other side, but it has to be the opposite wood color.
Okay.
So
it seems at like face value alone makes it seem a lot more sophisticated of the game than Boop, and like as an abstract game goes, like this feels like it is the type of game you'd play with chess or Go or like
absolutely.
any of those styles of game.
Yeah, Go. It gives me Go vibes for sure.
Yeah.
I've heard rave reviews about this, and I had a buddy get this game and told me it's a fantastic game to play, and I've just never had the opportunity to play it. And so I would love for you to make a version of this, or even purchase a version.
You didn't pick this one up at Origins.
I
right?
didn't. It was in the game library, and so that's how we played it. But I would definitely consider picking it up. And the rules really take like 2 minutes to learn, and then it's just exploring the strategies, how to become a better player, I guess. But
I'm looking at the back of the box on BGG, and it essentially explains the entirety of the rules on the back of the box of the game, which is a huge selling point. My opinion.
I love games like that.
It's no 5211 where the rules are in the
title
name of the game, but no, it is very simple but very fun and very engaging. We had a blast. Like, we almost played a 4th game, but it was getting pretty late, and it was a long day. So, yeah, I had a blast playing this one. Jason taught me this. He has it, and that is Shobu from Smirk and Laughter Games.
It sounds like a lot of the games that we've played are games that aren't necessarily screaming as the top games that you're going to hear about from everybody, but may be more considered like a hidden gem style game.
Oh, I knew there was a transition here coming.
Which I think goes
agree with that.
right into our discussion topic draft today. We're going to be talking about hidden gems in the top 1,000 to 1,500 level of ranking on Board Game Geek.
And we're doing it draft style.
Which I
so
think
don't pick my games.
Yeah, which usually I would think if you had 500 games to select from, your draft is going to be, I feel fairly confident that I'm not going to have overlaps. I don't feel that way with this draft.
I think we're going to have a few overlapped games.
There's a couple games where I'm feeling like I want to go first because I'm worried that some of the games I want to talk about are going to be taken.
Yeah, so we're going to do a snake draft, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna roll. Who are we rolling for first? I'm using Google to do this.
I thought we were going to roll 1 to 2 if it's a 6-sided dice, right?
We can split that into 3, right?
Kevin gets 1 to 2. You get 3.
Well, I got the 20-sided die loaded.
Oh, well, that's harder.
Let's just go who rolls the highest goes first.
That's fine. That
Yeah.
works too.
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin's rolling first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Click 9.
Oh, boo. Rigged.
Middle of the
Rigged.
road.
Tyson.
Middle of the
Tyson.
road.
Tyson rolls a 2.
Oh,
I
not
said
rigged
2
anymore.
for Kevin.
And I rolled a 20 critical hit.
Wait a minute. And you're rolling the dice.
I can't even see the screen here, so I feel
Okay.
like there's
All
a.
right, let's go in reverse then. Kevin, go first. No, Tyson, go first.
No, you got it.
you go
20
for
is
it.
worthwhile. You
We
start.
believe you.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So with my first pick, I think I need to pick something that I think one or both of you might be
That's
picking.
how I'm feeling.
All right.
There are a couple choices on there, but I think I would be most sad if I did not get this game in my draft. And it is by a wonderful designer named Johnny Pack.
I knew it. I knew it was that one. That was my number 1.
Was it?
That was the one I was going to send first.
Okay. Well, maybe there's more Johnny Packs in between.
doubt it.
Okay. So this is coming in at 1309, and it is Coloma.
Yep.
I only have.
Yeah. I didn't. It was not on my list.
It wasn't?
Not on my list.
Okay.
I think I may have missed this one.
Ah.
That was the one that if I was going to pick first, this was the one I was going to pick first.
Yeah. I don't know how this game is all the way down in the 1300s.
I know.
That seems ridiculous to me. The Coloma came out in 2019. It plays up to 6 players. I don't know that we've ever played that with that many players. I've played it just 2 times. Dan in our group owns a copy of this. It is a fantastic game. It is published by Final Frontier Games. I think Ben might have a copy of this as well.
I think he does as well.
Yeah. Right.
And there's a Kickstarter coming out again.
It's
for
a
this?
Game Found, probably kicking off right around the time that this episode airs for a new expansion, new prospects, I believe.
And while we have 2 of these copies in this group,
It's
I am
very
tempted
tempting. Yeah.
to get a copy for myself.
And Coloma's been sold out for a long
Yes.
time. So the opportunity is there to get this game. When I think of Wild Wild West games, I've never played Western Legends, but this comes to mind, right? There is like a wheel has action selection and everybody simultaneously picks their selection. If the action that has the majority of the picks will bust and you don't get the boom action associated with it. And then the wheel rotates every round. You're sending out guys to fight the outlaws at high noon. You're exploring the Wild Wild West. You're getting gold. There are a number of different actions to do. There's some hand management and I don't know, just the rondelle aspect of it is really cool. And the simultaneous action selection. So this game is a really fun game. I'm excited to maybe get this. I don't know. I've spent so much money lately. I'm probably not going to get it, but it's going to hurt my soul not to get it. But yeah, check it out on GameFound. That's going live at the time of recording 5 days from now. So roughly when this episode releases.
Very worthy first draft pick.
It's a good one. I skipped over this one.
Yeah, I do not know how it is 1309 on all the rankings.
Seems like it should be much higher.
Especially when you consider, and just for a reference point, I found a game that is ranked 1343 called Eat Poop You Cat.
Yeah. What?
Well, there
on
you
earth?
go. I mean, those are equal.
I mean, maybe
I'm sure.
this is a fantastic game.
It could be.
There are 1.7 or 1,700 ratings for this one.
For the
Eat Poop You Cat.
Wow.
So maybe it's a fantastic game, but
It probably is.
Coloma,
It's
I don't
awesome.
think should be anywhere near this game.
And that the magnet thing
Yeah.
on there, the production is
Yeah,
great.
Dan had the upgraded bits, and it
Yeah,
was
the poker
awesome.
chips.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
they were-
fantastic.
It was really nice.
It's been years since we've played it.
Yes.
but I remember absolutely loving both of the plays that we had.
And if I
it.
recall correctly, I'm undefeated in this game.
Well,
Did you win both of them?
Let's fact check that.
You can fact check all you like.
We log all of our games here.
Trilor lost by 2 points to Tyson.
This is correct. You won both games.
Yeah.
You did.
Which, I mean, maybe that has a reason why I have such fond memories of this game. But
we did play it at 6-player.
We played a 6-player game.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah, we last played this in May of 2021. So that was it was fantastic. Well done, Tyson. Yeah. I don't know how you remember that you won both the games.
Because they were fantastic experiences, I really enjoyed the game. And it just felt like it clicked for me this game.
All right, so that was my number one pick, Coloma. Check out the game fan.
My number one pick, you didn't put this on your list, but I think Tyler probably did.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
Yeah. So this one is designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, Austin Harrison, artist Lunar Saloon. That's a pretty cool name. I don't know if that's a guy, but is that a company?
Probably a studio.
Oh, it's probably a studio. And it's Ivy Games as a publisher. This is Moonrakers.
That's right. I would never have picked
so
this one.
you wouldn't have picked this one at all. Moonrakers is a deck building game. You're choosing contracts and you're trying to complete those contracts either alone or you're trying to recruit people to help you complete those contracts. So it's a negotiation game. And for me, it's the best negotiation game that I've ever played. It's a ton of fun. So like I said, it's a deck builder. You have different cards that you play that have different abilities. You can hire crew members. You can play thrusters, shields, weapons, reactors, and you're playing all these cards to try to get the right combination of cards to fulfill these contracts. More often than not, you can't fulfill them yourself, right? So you're going to be negotiating with other people and you're going to be splitting the rewards of these contracts. You're trying to get points, and that's how you win the game. Whoever gets to 10 points, I forget what the points are called, but prestige.
Prestige, yep.
So you try to get to 10 prestige first. Whoever gets to 10 first is the immediate winner. There's also credits that you get, and you can negotiate the credits. Pretty much any reward that the card offers, you can negotiate that reward. Super fun. Tyson, I know you don't. This isn't one of your favorites. It kind of slows down a little bit towards the end.
If you like Munchkin, you're really gonna like this game.
Oh, come on! Not
the
even
ability
close.
to slow down towards the end. It does that exactly.
Again, if you don't understand the strategy and intricacies, you'll have the opinion that Tyson has. But
I will say, to be fair, I think this game does a lot of really good things, and I just that it's like Munchkin. There is stuff that reminds me of Munchkin about it, but I know that I'm kind of the outlier in that perspective. But there's a lot of good things about this game as well. And as far as like pure negotiation goes, it does a good job of setting up the stage for it. It lasts a little too long for me, I think. And there's a couple of instances in, even if I want to, my experiences have been that the times I've played it, I've been put into situations where I have all the desire to negotiate and negotiate well, but it just doesn't work out, and through no fault of anybody's own or anybody trying to box you out. It
Maybe we
didn't work
respect your negotiating prowess, and we're wary of.
And we just cut you out.
Yes,
that's good play for us.
Yeah, you should take that as a badge of honor. If that's the case.
But I mean, there was a couple of times when we played where I felt like maybe that was how it was going at first, but then it was like. Even when, like, there was a specific instance, Kevin wanted to negotiate with me.
I do remember
and
this.
He was trying to find a way to do it. And
you didn't have what I needed.
But there was no reason for him to negotiate with me, and it was nothing I could do to stop that.
That happens, but it doesn't mean that you're completely cut out for the entire game, right?
No.
So I don't think that sets you back too much.
So I backed the Titan edition, and I did get one play of it since then. There were 3 new expansions that came out. We played with the Binding Ties one, which was you were encouraged to work together more. It was pretty cool. One thing that I really liked is I got the negotiation board, and that kind of kept us on task with negotiations, and it helped us keep track of what was at stake for everybody for each negotiation. It helped display, everything that was up for grabs in the negotiations, and that was very helpful and very cool. I would not want to play the game without it.
I remember the first time we played it and the first time we started negotiating, we're like, huh? Like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of,
wait, you had what? And I, what? No.
We hadn't played games like that before as a group, and it was a little awkward at first. So having something like that would probably be
it was
very
cool.
helpful. Right.
So, and I'm excited to play with the other expansions. We played this at big game night. Everybody at the table enjoyed the play, and the guy that showed up late for the rules teach ended up winning. So,
and just one other thing about this game, it's beautiful. The art's amazing.
It is. The production quality is fantastic.
Is awesome. So
it's got such an appeal to just want to play that game just when looking at it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, the box art and everything
the
is
skull
fantastic.
astronaut
we did a feature review of this, right?
We sure did.
Yeah, we reviewed this back in episode 17. We did a full feature review of it. So
Yes,
go
we
ahead
did.
and check out our comments and discussion in episode 17 of Moonrakers.
So yeah, coming in at 1,024.
I am scratching it off my list.
That is Moonrakers. You had that one on there, huh?
I did.
That's why I picked it number 1.
So coming in at 1,049, slightly lower ranked than Moonrakers, which is a pure, utter travesty, in my opinion, is a game that I know actually Kevin's going to agree with me.
I can't believe you're picking this.
Yes, I am.
This is such a cheat. Such a cheat.
It's a cheat, but I'm doing it. Arkham Horror, the card game.
I saw that.
There is no way.
No.
The revised edition.
Yeah, whatever, Tyson. That is a cheat.
Not a cheat. It's 1,049. It's absolutely within the framework of the rules.
It is there, but the original edition is in the top 100.
Yes, it is.
So cheap.
And there are no changes to the revised edition except for the distribution model.
Which is exactly why it's fine that it's a different version.
No.
All right, well, we'll continue.
Pick a new one. I'm just kidding.
No.
I've got plenty. I could pick a lot, but I think that the fact that this is in this range and there is a revised edition of this just goes to show how good of a game it is. It absolutely is a cheat, and I have no problem because Tyler stole my Coloma, which was what I was going to pick first.
And the thought did cross my mind to pick this game.
I saw it too, but I haven't played it. So
yeah.
There was a couple of games I thought to choose that I haven't played, but I was surprised at how many good games are in this range of games. This is really not a hidden gem, so maybe that is a big cheat in that regard. But like, if you haven't played Arkham Horror, the card game, we've talked about this at length. I'm not going to go into depth about it, but the art, the card customization, the vast amount of content that you can get in this game, totally worth it.
The theme, the thematic, elements.
It just sucks you in.
It does suck you in. You play it enough. There's a lot of rules overhead to this game. I mean, there's a lot to think about. It's tough to get to the table, at least for me. But once you play it a few times and you kind of the rules melt away and you just get sucked into the story, there's really no other game that does what this game does to give you that thematic experience.
To the depth and the extent that it does it. The big, and we've talked about this, the big downside is that unless you're playing this back to back to back, it is beefy in its rule set, and there's multiple rule books that you have to go through. So it's not always the easiest game to table. Yeah. But outside of that, I think this game is phenomenal. So that is my first draft pick, Arkham Horror, the card game, specifically the revised edition.
Good pick.
Yeah, great pick. I'm going to make a comment in the show notes for this episode about your pick. But I did want to say at Origins.
That's cheating.
I saw, so there was this company that had these like luxury component pieces, and they had a set for Arkham Horror.
I've seen stuff like this, yeah.
And they're like $215, but they are gorgeous, beautiful.
So it's the tokens that you're drawing out of the bag, and
have you seen the hamburger tokens for these ones?
Hamburger?
It's called the hamburger tokens.
That
this
doesn't
is a
sound
style
deluxe.
of token that is it is deluxe. They're like bubble tokens.
Oh, yeah.
And then like you can actually stick them on a penny and stuff.
Yeah.
And like they're like stickers that go on a penny. And I've played with these type of tokens before, and they really do feel really deluxe to me. Next to like the Quacks of Quedlinburg kind of tokens, or the Orleans type of tokens, those are awesome.
So those are the tokens. They are beautiful.
I think I've seen those before. Those are awesome. There's so many upgrades to this game. Like the locations, there's little arrows that you can buy that point to the locations. You know, you can go here or here, because it's a little bit confusing the first few times
There's
you
some
play.
clunkiness
It's like,
here and there.
okay, the red location goes to the red location, but then this location can't go back there, and the arrows would be really cool. So there's a lot of upgrades to this that would be fun to incorporate.
I keep almost buying sets of this, but you have a bunch, and
I've got
then I
2
don't buy
campaigns and then 3 investigator expansions. So
nice.
yeah, there's a lot of content for sure.
All right. Do you have a legitimate pick now, Tyson?
I could give you like 8 other picks, but I'm sticking with my Arkham Horror
No, I know,
pick.
but now it's your turn to pick
accept
again.
it. Oh yeah,
'cause
we're
it's snake
snaking.
draft.
Snake draft.
All right, snake draft. Then I think my next pick, I'm not picking the one that you would also call a cheat, but hey,
Is it number 1263?
no, it's not.
Okay. All right.
Because that's going to be yours,
Maybe. We'll see.
unless it's
Don't
mine.
look it up.
1260.
No.
Yeah, what is that? Okay, go. All right. So my second pick is going to be a game that concerns me that it could be on somebody else's list, so I'm going to pick it early on. It is ranked 1,113.
Oh, it is. It's on my list.
This is a game. I don't play a lot of 2-player games, but I've played a lot of this game. This is Jekyll versus Hyde.
Okay.
And I consider this a true hidden gem of a game. If you haven't played this, this is a game worth playing. It's a 2-player trick-taking game where both players take on a role of either Jekyll or Hyde, and each of your cards are going to have like artwork that kind of represents that, done by Vincent Dutrait. So you know it's going to be good. Vincent Dutrait's one of our favorite. We've already talked about Vincent Dutrait art in this episode a little bit already, but essentially what you're doing is in the trick-taking game, Jekyll is trying to maintain order and make sure that you and your opponent are earning the same or as close to the same amount of tricks as possible, where Hyde is trying to sow chaos and doesn't care if Hyde takes the most tricks or the least tricks. He just wants the greatest disparity between the two of you. So you're going through and playing this game, trying to determine who can get the most tricks or a balance of tricks, essentially. So the other thing that makes this game, I think, really good is that there's these potion cards. I think that's what they're called, potion cards. But they switch up the flow of the game. So one of the potions allows you to kind of change the order of the trump suit. Another potion allows you to swap cards with the other player. So you're kind of mixing things up, and it does some really interesting decisions. The more I've played this game, the more I feel like there is strategy to unfold on it. I've heard a lot of criticisms about this game in regards to it being kind of random, and there's really no skill involved. And I can't help but say that you got to play it more for that to really see how that works, because the more you see, I think the more control you have, and the more you realize what your opponent can likely do, and you can see what number cards you have and then kind of guess what their cards could be. And I think it adds a really interesting dynamic to this game. So that's one of my favorite games in this block of games.
Yeah, it's been a while since we played this. We need to get some games of this going again on
I would
BGA.
agree. Yeah.
It's a fantastic 2-player game. And even if it is one-sided, if there is truth to that, you usually, when you set it up on BGA, you're playing both sides.
Yep.
I mean, you play one side and then you switch sides, and then if you both won as Hyde or both won as Jekyll, then it's based off of where the markers were when you won.
Right.
So
yeah, as close to 10 as possible, or yeah. And it reminds me of some ways of like how we've played Memoir 44, right? Like where there may be some imbalance, or some people may say there is imbalance to the scenarios.
There absolutely is
there
imbalance to the scenarios.
But
Yeah.
when you do flip the sides, that kind of offsets that.
Yeah,
I don't
for sure.
know that I would say Jekyll versus Hyde has nearly the type of imbalance that is potential in like Memoir 44, because I've absolutely won as both sides of that. But it
you're,
can
like you say,
be
you're
prone to that.
playing both sides, it doesn't even matter.
Yes.
I mean, it's a non-issue at that point.
So yeah, that is my second draft pick, Jekyll versus Hyde.
Cool. All right, my second pick.
This is going to determine my next two picks.
I don't think you. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess we'll see. This one is coming in at 1,026. And that is Cockroach Poker.
It's on my list.
It was on my list as well.
So this one is designed by, I think, Jacques Zimet. Artist is Rolf Vogt, and a lot of publishers are there. I'm not quite sure who publishes the English version, but so Cockroach Poker, this is a bluffing game. And I go back and forth on if I like this one more or if I like Skull more. I mean, they're kind of in a similar type of game for me. It's a fantastic game. I've had so much fun playing this both in our game group and with my family. Just really briefly how this plays. You have a bunch of different bug cards. There's 64 cards total with 8 copies of each of 8 critters, right? So you deal all these cards out to everybody that's playing. And then you have this handful of cards. If it's your turn, you take one of those cards, you put it face down, you slide it to somebody around the table, and you declare what that bug is. You can be truthful or you can be lying through your teeth. Then that person has a choice. They either say true or false. If they say true and it was the bug that person said, then that card goes back to the person who tried to pass it to you. If they were wrong, then they keep that card. That's one option. The other option is that person can look at the card and then pass it to somebody else around the table and do the same thing to that person until it gets to the last person around the table. Then they're forced to either say true or false. They either get the card or it goes back to the person that passed it to them. If you get 4 of one bug, you are out. You are the one loser around the table. Everybody else is the winner, and the game ends, which I think is kind of a hilarious thing, right? It's really funny. And it's really funny that we played with Tyson and he lost like 4 times in a row, and he was the only loser like 4 times in a row.
Funny. That's the word.
Yeah, we played this at the first Cabin Con, second Cabin Con.
Yeah.
The second Cabin Con. I don't think we've played it since then as a game group.
I don't think so. I played it with my family for sure.
Yeah, this game's awesome. I love it.
But I think you can in this game. Part of the reason why I lost so frequently is because you can target specific players in this game. And there's some fun to that. Like, even though I was losing, I was like, you guys suck.
It's hilarious.
This is hilarious.
You get on the same page, sometimes on the same page with people around the table where you're like, okay, we're going to funnel cards to Tyson.
Yeah.
And we're going to try and get him.
Well, I've been on the receiving end of that too. It's like, great guys, thanks. Yeah.
But I mean, you can just guess right, and you're not going to get those cards. You know, there's some strategy around there.
But I think some of it also comes down to proximity too, of who you're sitting by.
That's true.
You often get funneled cards based off of that as well.
That's true.
But I also really like there are some times, Tyler, when we played with your son Logan, where I remember specifically he tried to get in sync and funnel stuff to me a couple of times. And it backfired on it. The whole flow of things switched the other direction, and then people would funnel it to him. And that's part of the fun of this game is that, it can be going not your way at all, but if you can get it just right, it can quickly turn the other direction, and it could be really fun that way.
Yeah, it's a great game. Super simple, easy to teach, a lot of fun. Good in a bigger group. So that's my second pick. Cockroach Poker coming in at 1,026.
Nice. Since you stole that off my list, I'm going to go with Cockroach Poker Royal. Just kidding. Because that is also in the range that we are finding hidden gems in. No, I I'm a little surprised. I thought that was going to be on your list. I thought you might pick it later. I'm going to go with a game that we just recently talked about in our last episode. It's number 1030. This one, I've played this, I don't know, over 60 times. Fantastic game. Ice Cool.
Okay.
Came out 2016, designed by Brian Gomez and published by Brain Games. Flicking penguins around. You got the chaser guy trying to hit the other penguins. And if you're not the chaser, then you're trying to go through doorways and collect fish off the doorways. And eventually the round ends and then you switch roles and we can play this as a family for hours. It's such a fun game. Standing around the table, flicking penguins. Whoever thought that would be fun.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
and it's getting more and more popular. It's actually 1,029.
Oh, it bumped up since I created my list.
It bumped up a spot.
Nice. And obviously, if you combine it with Ice Cool too, it's fantastic. And you can have an even more epic game. I think we've had like 7 or 8 people playing at a game nights.
One time,
yeah, you run out of fish cards at a certain point, and not everybody gets a turn as a chaser. It's just so much fun flicking the penguins off the table, trying to flick them through doorways and over walls and around. And, it's just a lot of, it's a good time. So check that one out if you have never had a chance to play Ice Cool. You cannot play it on Board Game Arena, unfortunately.
They should develop some dexterity games on Board Game Arena.
Crocodile, You could play it on Tabletop Simulator, though.
You probably could.
There's a module for that. There are dexterity games on
I've never played Crokinole. I would still like to play that. There was a Crokinole space set up at Origins, and
it's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I would love to learn that. But that was
I need to pull it down. I obviously have it, and it's up on my wall. So
I thought that was a shield.
It's a weird Captain America shield. Yeah,
you got arm straps on the back.
Yeah,
of that.
Did you get the clock attachment for it?
I did not. No,
you can get clock attachments,
like a chess clock type thing.
No, like with hands, board. The minute hand, the hour hand.
Oh,
you can turn your Crokinole board into a clock so that you hang it on the wall.
Cool. Yeah, well, we're back to Ice Cool. That's my number 2 pick. I have the luxury of picking my next game.
Don't pick mine.
I think I gotta go with a classic game at this point. This is an older game. It came out in 2008. It is currently ranked 1185th overall, and it is Witch's Brew, designed by Andreas Pelikan. In this game, you're trying to collect ingredients to throw into your pot to make a potion and collect cards that have victory points on them. The main mechanic of this game is everybody has the same 12 roll cards, and each roll, ROLE, card that you have does a specific action, or 3 of them let you collect different ingredients, 3 of them let you brew a potion. There's other ones that convert gold to vials and vials to other things.
Steal money.
Steal ingredients. So everybody has the same 12 roll cards, and you select 5 of them that you're going to play each round from your hand. And then whoever's turn it is, they have to play one and say, I am the
herb collector or whatever.
What?
Herb collector.
Herb collector, yes.
Herbie,
the herb collector. And then anybody else, and then in turn order, anybody else that has that card will put it down and either say, I am the herb collector, or so be it, right? Or if they don't have that card, if that's not one of the 5 cards that they selected, then they pass. So if someone else declares themselves as the herb collector, then whoever previously declared themselves as that doesn't get anything from the card. If a person says, so be it, then they get
it's like the favor, I think is what it is. It's a lesser reward.
A lesser reward, or something might cost more to do. And so it's very interesting how you select the cards that you want to play based on what ingredients are around the table and what everybody has and what potions you think they're going for, and
second guessing people. And,
yeah. So you want to play cards that no one else has so that you can carry out all of your actions, or at the very least, you want to be last in turn order. And then you have an interesting choice sometimes. If you have the card that is being played, it's like, well, I could play this and be the herb collector, but I have to go first next. Or I can just say, so be it, still get a reward, and then I don't have to be first next.
Stick that other poor sucker for the first place card.
And like if you go out of all 5 of your cards and you were supposed to be first next, then it just rotates to the next person, and that's funny too when they didn't get any benefit from the card that was played. But yeah, so Witch's Brew, 45 minutes to an hour. Really fun 5-player card selection game with a really interesting mechanic going on there with people deciding whether or not they want to trump your card, essentially. So
I think this
awesome
definitely qualifies as a hidden gem. I mean, I think there was some popularity to it when it initially came out, but this is a game that you're going to probably see if you look at the artwork and you look at the front cover and the components. It's not probably going to pop out to you, but it's totally worth the time to play this. I've played this a couple times and really enjoyed every experience that I've had. And I only was introduced to this within the last couple of years, I think. And this is a great experience.
If you do see it, buy it.
Yeah.
Because it is unfortunately out of print.
I bought it on eBay at secondhand prices. After playing Kevin's copy years ago. It was re-implemented as broom service, which adds a board to it. So you're moving around your witches. I believe I've played it once. I
fell a little flat for me.
Yeah, I think because I played Witch's Brew first, that's the one I enjoy more, and I've played that a couple dozen times at least. Broom Service fell a little flat, but I know that there are people out there that prefer Broom Service over Witch's Brew. So that was my third pick. Witch's Brew coming in at 1,185.
That was on my short list for sure. My number 3 is coming in at 1,124. This one is designed by Mike Fitzgerald, art done by William Bricker and Daniel Solis. This is Diamonds.
I was going to say art done by this.
Yeah.
I saw that one and thought that one might be on your list.
Yeah, this is one of my daughter's absolute favorite games. She loves this game. It's a trick-taking game. And it does a few things that are a little bit unique to other trick-taking games, which I think it's really cool. So like most trick-taking games, you're going to play a suit, and you lead with that suit, and everybody else that follows has to play that suit. Unless they don't have the suit, then they can play off-suit. But when they do that, you get a benefit. You get a suit action that you can take. And every different suit has a different action. So diamonds, you get to put a gem in your vault. Vault means it's protected. It also means it's worth double at the end of the game. Other actions allow you to put these diamonds into your showroom. Showroom they're worth 1 point at the end of the game, but they can also be stolen by other players with other suit actions that you take. So if you play off suit, you get to take a suit action, which is cool. If you win the suit, you get to take that action for the suit that you win. If you don't win any suits, you get to take 2 diamond suit actions, which is awesome. And then at the end of each round, whoever has the most of each type of suit, they also get to take a suit action. So sometimes you're not trying to win any suits because you get a benefit. Sometimes you're trying to win all of the suits because you get a benefit. You do this for a certain number of rounds based on the player count, and then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. It's, pretty simple for a trick-taking game, but I think it's got a lot of fun strategy. Crazy things happen. Sometimes you get a really good hand. Sometimes you don't. I think there's quite a bit of strategy to it. It's a lot of fun. Diamonds.
I've seen this game played a lot because, interestingly enough, did you know that Mike Fitzgerald is a Colorado resident?
I did not know this.
He is a Colorado resident, and he goes to the local cons, Mr. B Con, Tacticon, Genghis Con, all of these cons.
Pikes Peak Con.
I haven't been
That
to Pikes
is another
Peak
one.
Con,
It
so,
is? It's recent.
Oh, I made it up.
No, there's one down in Colorado Springs. That's I don't know if it's exactly that name, but it's a new one down there.
Oh, cool.
But usually because these are local cons, he's a featured designer at them a lot of the time.
Nice.
And so a lot of his games are played, and I've played game with him, and he's one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet. Like,
Very cool.
super nice guy.
So one of the games that I've designed, not published obviously, but it's if you took diamonds and took silver from Bezier Games with the card actions and took some other things from other games, but it was loosely based off of diamonds and silver, and it was fun, but got passed on. So I'm okay with that. I'm a podcaster now. So
Like, just look it up.
yeah. Either way, I wasn't going to bring in any cheddar. So, but yeah, no, I enjoyed diamonds. Obviously enough that I loosely based another trick taking game off of it. So
Nice.
It's a fun game, and I've enjoyed playing that one.
Yep.
It's been a while since we've played it at game night.
It has been. I played it with my family more recently than that, but it's a good one. If you like trick takers, it's worth checking out. Hidden Gem coming in at 1,124.
Nice.
All right, so my third draft pick
Now, is this a legitimate choice?
is a legitimate choice.
I want to stop here for a minute. Hidden Gem, and it's diamonds. I didn't even realize that was a job. That was pretty good.
Nice.
Continue.
Yeah.
Continue.
Well,
Now who's interrupting Tyson?
this is true. Mine is ranked as 1,233. It is a game that I own, and it's called Paris. Now, there's a couple versions of Paris. This is the Paris that's published by Game Brewer. It's designed by Michael Kiesling and Wolfgang Kramer. This is... I think one of the things that really stands out about this game is this is a circular board. And usually when there's a circular board, my eye is immediately caught, and I'm interested in what's going on in
Pulsar,
this game.
right?
Pulsar, absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's such a generic
Plus, it has
shape.
the Arc de
like,
Triomphe, right?
it does, and that's a 3D piece that I don't like to play with.
I also remember we played, and I lost pieces in that little
in the little screen,
screen thing.
because
So
it
there
was-
may be some production issues, but it was a fun game. Yeah.
But it's really good. But essentially, this game is a game in which it has the mechanism in you can go as far as you want on like selecting any action available. So think of like Tokaido, right? Where like you can journey anywhere you want and you can go as far as you want on there. But where you stop is where you take an action. Everywhere on this board, there's a different like space that you can go to. And you're trying to develop real estate in Paris, essentially. And as you're doing that, you're trying to get these keys. And you can put keys out on the board to like select different areas that you're getting. You're trying to get the most points by doing this. And what I really like, though, is that because I can select anywhere, I can jump ahead to take some really powerful actions at the end of the track. But the further I go means I'm skipping over actions that I could do.
That's
right?
super interesting decisions there. Yeah.
And it makes it really difficult in some ways because the timing is super important in this game, because if I go and jump over an action there and unlock or get some resources or get the stuff I need to be able to do stuff later, I can never go backwards on the track. But there's a lot of really fun things about this game that I enjoy, and I don't think that this one gets as much attention as it probably deserves. Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling are both really renowned, well-known designers. I don't know that this one is talked about nearly as much as some of their other ones, but I love Paris. I think it's a really fun game.
Yeah, I remember really enjoying my play. I've only played once. We played at CabinCon. I think you guys were playing Tyrants of the Underdark or something.
Yeah.
Like the same table, but I thought it was great. Yeah, it was fun. I love that. Like you said, I love the mechanic where you're jumping around that circular board, and the decisions are just agonizing. You know, because you can't go back. You know. But you maybe want to get to something before somebody else does.
And exactly. You may take something that somebody else wants, which really impacts their decisions.
Yeah.
But it could come at a cost.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah. So that is my third draft pick. I'll move on to my fourth draft pick here. And I think I'm going to go with one that is ranked 1,111. This is a game that is not, it's a Red Raven game, but it's probably one of the lesser known Red Raven games. It is 8 Minute Empire, specifically the Legends edition. There's 8 Minute Empire, which is also in this range of 1,000 to 1,500 games. But I personally have the Legends version, which adds a little bit more. There's a couple of little like mini expansions that are added to the game, and a couple of little cards that are in there. Essentially what this game is it's an area control game in which there are a number of different little boards that you put together, and you can flip them on different sides, and you put them together into a map configuration. Each of these boards have different islands on them and spaces. And what you're trying to do in this game is that you have cubes, a number of cubes, and a couple of castle meeples that you can put out. These cubes are allowing you to spread your armies throughout the islands. And it's an area control, area majority style game in which you're trying to expand. It feels similar in some ways to Eschaton in how you're moving those cubes out and pushing and gaining control in a lot of ways. But there's also like this drafting of cards that you're doing, and each of these cards have different abilities and things. They're the primary function in which you're getting cubes out on the board or building castles or doing anything. And it's got a set collection component to it. This is a very like simple and straightforward drafting card and area control style game. It's really lightweight, but it plays 2 to 4 players, and it plays within like 30 minutes usually. So this is a very quick to the table game. I think it's a fun game to play and introduce, especially if nobody's really played area majority style games, or if your area majority style game that you've most recently played is something like Risk or something like that. This is a good next step for that to kind of further bridge you into the hobby.
I have never even heard of this game.
I've heard of it.
It's one of his first games, isn't it?
It is. And I'll say that like it was one of the first games that I ever purchased, moving away from things like Catan and Ticket to Ride. And part of the reason was the art. And it's typical Ryan Lockett art.
Yeah,
but
great.
This 8 Minute Empire Legends box has this beautiful graphic of like a dragon on the front cover that I really like, stood out to me, and I was like, I don't even care what that game is. That art is so beautiful that I want to experience more of it, and it's all over this game. So that's my fourth draft pick, coming in at 1,111, 8 Minute Empire Legends.
Nice.
All right, my fourth draft pick comes in at 1,128, and I had to sneak in a Tom Lehman design. This is Jump Drive.
I knew this was going to be on your list.
Yeah, no, I love this. I've actually been recently playing this on BGA, and it's a lot of fun, and it plays really well on BGA. So this is kind of it's an entry point into the Race for the Galaxy system. It's a very much stripped down version of Race for the Galaxy. It shares the same iconography, which all the games in this series share, which makes it easier to get into games once you know what the iconography means. So you have a large deck of cards that you start with, and you start with a hand of cards as well. You can play a development, which is this diamond symbol on the card, or you can play a settlement, which is a circle. It's you're settling a planet. You can play either or. If you play a development, you get a benefit of -1 cost in order to play that. If you play a settlement, you get to draw a card after, or you can play both of those and you don't get any benefit. You play those cards, and then you get victory points at the end based on how many victory points those cards are worth. There's a little icon on the bottom, and then you get to draw additional cards. You do that for a round, and then you play another round, and it's over in typically 6 to 7 rounds. It's a very, very quick game. I think it plays in about 20 minutes. If you're playing on BGA, it can be over in probably maybe 10 minutes. It's just really, really fast. I love the escalation in this game. It's very much an engine builder, like all of the other games in this series. And you can really get synergies going between cards, and it escalates very quickly between rounds. It's a race to 50. The last game I played, I think it was over in 6 rounds. I barely squeaked a victory. I got 54 points, and the guy was behind me was at 40 something. And it's kind of a nail biter, wondering if I was going to get there or not. So it's like all the other games in the series, it's a race to see who can get to the 50 points first. And it's a very stripped down version of Race of the Galaxy and a really good engine builder, I think. So that is Jump Drive. And it has an expansion that just came out that I haven't played yet.
Oh, it does.
That I'm super excited to get that played. I do not have it yet, but I will get it.
Is it on Board Game Arena?
I don't think it's on there yet. The expansion just came out pretty recently. So, yeah.
I don't think that there would be a game range within the top 2,000 in which a Tom Lehman game couldn't be found. And it would likely, if there's a Tom Lehman game, it's going to be on your draft list at some point, right?
Possibly. I mean, I love engine builders, and he does a really good job with those.
He does.
Yeah.
He's quite the engineer.
Yes. Quite. So that good one.
Yeah.
So that is that's my 4th pick. Jump Drive by Tom Lehman, coming in at 1,128.
So I thought about having a cheap pick like Tyson.
I know what it would be.
1263. The Dice Throne system.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Dice Throne is listed at 1263.
I did not notice that.
I didn't either.
I'm not picking that. I'm going to go with something that I really enjoy. It comes in at 1255. I've only played this a couple of times, but you guys are familiar with Betrayal at House on the Hill, right? This is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate. So this is my favorite version of the Betrayal at House on the Hill line of games. It obviously takes place in the Dungeons and Dragons world. Baldur's Gate came out in 2017, 3 to 6 players. I just love this environment so much more than the House on the Hill. Like the items are just all cool D&D stuff, like a necklace of fireballs and ring of X-ray vision. Just really cool stuff. I've only played it a couple times. Just talking about it makes me want to get it back out to the table. If I'm playing the House on the Hill type game, I want to play Baldur's Gate. So if you're not familiar with those line of games, over the course of the game, you're exploring and adding new tiles, and you're building out this map. You're collecting items. You have various skill categories that you're trying to strengthen and build up. But at a certain point, a haunt is triggered. I don't know if they use a different terminology in this game. It's been a while since I played it. But a haunt is triggered, and one or more players becomes the antagonist within the game. And then there's different victory conditions for either side to win. This one's got mind flares and all kinds of different D&D monsters in it. It's been a while since I played it, but this is my number 4 pick, Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, 1255. I don't think that was on either of your lists.
It was not.
It was not. I played Betrayal at House on the Hill. But
Same. And you've mentioned this before, Tyler, that Baldur's Gate is probably your preferred version of this. I've only played Betrayal at House on the Hill, which I really enjoy nostalgically. I feel like you have to have a tie to the Sword Coast or the or Neverwinter or anything within the RPG world to be able to kind of get the same tie-in.
I don't know. I pretend like you're not playing a D&D version of it. It's just like a medieval fantasy. The art is really cool on the tiles and just all the different items and monsters that you fight. I mean, you don't have to be familiar with Dungeons and Dragons to enjoy this. So.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's similar to the Dungeons and Dragon movie that just came out. I'm not very familiar with Dungeons and Dragon, and I watched that. And your perspective, I remember you saying you really enjoyed the Dungeons and Dragon movie. I thought it was fine, but like
it was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
I thought it was great.
I feel like I would have appreciated it a lot more if I had understood some of the the extra particular
The owlbear.
Yeah. Well, I knew the owlbear reference, but I didn't know like some of the things where it was like that was clearly intended for people who know
Oh, absolutely.
D&D, and I didn't quite figure it out. And that's kind of how I feel about Baldur's Gate would probably be to some extent.
Yeah, maybe.
You could enjoy it, absolutely. It's a good system and a good game, but
Yeah, so I've played the original. I haven't played the Scooby-Doo one, which I feel like is perfectly themed for this type of game, but I haven't played that one. I've played the Legacy one. That wasn't my favorite experience for a Legacy game.
I think I've heard that.
Are there other implementations or IPs of this?
There's the expansion to Betrayal with Widow's Walk.
Oh, so Logan got an expansion, but we haven't played it.
And it adds more. It adds another floor in the mansion as well. It adds the attic.
Okay.
So it adds more content and more scenarios, but it's more of the same.
Logan got a different expansion. It's not that one, but I'm not seeing it listed. Yeah, so this my preferred version. Need to get some more plays of it, especially now that the Dungeons and Dragons movie is out. Okay, my fifth pick. Look, this is a softball. This is an easy pick for me, and I know without a doubt this is not on either of your lists because neither of you enjoyed.
I know, and that's a fact.
The journey to Trieste. This is Imperial Steam from Capstone Games.
Oh crap! That was my next pick.
So this is a heavier game. It's ranked 1050. Its complexity is 4.17 out of 5. I think maybe that's why it's kind of fallen off people's radars a little bit. It's a little hard to get to the table. It's a complex.
There are plenty of games in that range that are in the top 100.
Could it be that it makes you feel like a terrible player of games?
Right.
I'm sorry you guys had a terrible first play and already decided that you're not going to play the game again.
I will play this again. It does have a lot of really interesting stuff.
It's got contracts that you're buying and selling stock. Well, you sell stock to gain money, but then you have to pay it back later. There's end game bonuses. The game does score very differently based on whether or not any of the players make it to the destination of Trieste. So you're in the Austrian mountains, building tracks and factories, and there is a ton of stuff going on in this game. You're upgrading your train cars, you're transporting stuff, you're completing contracts. I absolutely loved this game. It was designed by Alexander Humer. It is a little more complex it's over a 4 out of 5, but the art is beautiful. I remember the first time I saw the cover, I was like, I'm getting this game. And it did not disappoint for me. The only disappointing part is that it is not loved at the table, but that's okay because eventually I will get this played some more. And it is a fantastic game. Imperial Steam came out in 2021, ranked 1050 overall. All right. And I knew I could save that pick for my fifth pick.
Yeah, I saw that on the list, and I went,
I saw it.
You can have that one, Tyler.
Yeah. So I also saved my pick to the end because I know that it's not on any of your guys' lists. This is the completely other end of the spectrum as far as complexity goes. This is a 1.04 complexity scale. This could be the lowest that I've ever seen. If you've been listening to the podcast for any amount of time, you know that I usually throw in a kids game. I play a lot of games with my kids. This one is Coconuts.
Oh
yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Okay. I've got stuff to say about this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So this is it's a dexterity game. So the way the game works is you have a number of cups that you set up in the middle of the table. And then depending on the players, you'll have a monkey that has spring-loaded hands that you put coconuts in. Okay. Your goal is to take a coconut, flick it, and make it into one of the cups. If you get a cup, you put the cup in front of you. There's 3 spots for cups. If you get 3 on the bottom row, then you stack 2 on top of that, and you stack 1 on top of that. If you get your stack completed, then you are the winner. The cool thing is, not only can you get coconuts to flip in the cups in the middle, you can target other people's cups and steal them from them, which is kind of fun, and it makes for really fun, hilarious situations. My kids are always trying to steal my cups, which is always kind of fun. There are red cups that if you get your coconut in a red cup, then you immediately get to take another turn. And now I have explained the entire game and how it works. It's not a complicated game at all. It's just kind of dumb fun. And who doesn't like to flick coconuts into cups? So
I've heard lots of praise for this game from lots of different people. My son, my 4-year-old, has within the last month decided that his favorite word is coconut.
Oh, this game is perfect.
He has said the word coconut about 8,643 times within the last 4 weeks.
Wow.
And I think I need to get this game for him just because of that.
You get a copy of 800-Pound Gorilla, too.
Oh,
Yeah.
So at Origins, I bought a game, Catapult Feud. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but think crossbows and catapults, right? It's a different game, different publisher. But I bought that. You build a castle wall, and then you're launching stuff at your opponent's wall, right? So I had bought that to play with my son, Caden, who is younger, but I think he's going to grow into this game and really love it. I was by the Thunderworks games booth, and I had the game in my bag, Catapult Feud, and the guy at Thunderworks, Kirk Dennison, he was like, "Oh, you got that game? That's fun." And then he started telling me about how his favorite game like that to play with his kids is Coconuts, and that I should check that out. So
awesome!
It's kind of awesome that now you're talking about it. I didn't even know you had this one.
Yeah. Matt, my brother-in-law, recommended it.
Nice,
actually. Yeah, he may have sent me a copy. I can't remember now, but we love it. My 5-year-old really likes it, and she's really good at it. So, and then my 10-year-old obviously likes it as well. So it's fun for the whole family.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I'm on the lookout for stuff that I can start adding to Caden's space, right?
Yeah.
And
this is a good starting point for sure.
Yeah. Well, even I busted out 800-Pound Gorilla on Sunday morning. He woke up a little early, and I got that out with him. And so we'd flick it, and like if it landed on the big monkey, we would make a really deep gorilla sound, and just we adapted our own things to it, right? But kids are so amazing and so smart, and they pick up stuff so quickly that I'm just on the lookout for new games to play with kids. So I'm going to check this one out too.
It's a good one. So that's my last pick, coming in at 1,109.
My final pick is not a pick for children, and it's a game that I knew that neither of you would pick, so I saved it for last. I was surprised.
Is it 1090?
It is not ranked 1090. It is ranked 1,143. And this is a game I'm sure you guys have probably never played, but I've owned it, and I've tried to bring it a couple times to game night. It's called Honshu. Honshu is Honshu is a game that I picked up after playing Carcassonne. And this was I was at Carcassonne, Isle of Skye, these tile laying games. I was really excited by them when they were first coming out. This was published in 2016, and so I picked it up right around that same time. And this is a card version, basically tile laying game. In it, the game takes place over 12 rounds, and it goes into 2 phases, essentially. In the first phase, you are bidding, essentially, for cards. Everybody has a number of cards in their hand, and those cards have number values on them. In addition, they each have 6 different kind of terrain things on them, tiles, where you're trying to map your put together a set of terrain to score the most points a la Carcassonne, where like, hey, if in this one, if like the fish areas, the ocean areas are touching each other, then you're going to get a certain amount of points. If the residential areas are touching, you're going to get a certain amount of points, etc. But the difference about this is that each card has that number value on it, and the player who plays the first card is going to determine a number value, but they can also put a resource of a certain time on it. If they place that resource, everybody throughout the rest of that round has to place a resource of the same type. They call this a trick taking kind of a mechanic is essentially what it is, because whoever ends up with the highest value at the end of that round gets to choose any one of the available cards that was played down to add to their tile placement area. So it's really interesting because you're trying to decide, do I think I can win this trick to get whichever card I want? I'm going to play a high value or a low value to determine that. And then am I going to give cards that I think somebody's going to pick or not pick? So it's a lot of interesting decisions. But once everybody has picked, then they put it on their in their grid of cards, and they can overlap different cards. They can put on next to other cards, etc. So once everybody has acquired a card, then they're going to place that card in their grid of cards and lay it down to maximize their point scoring. There's a little bit more to this game and some of the things you can do, but that's basically the gist of the game. And I've really liked this game. It has the rules are a little bit hard to understand with the version I have, but I think that was just merely a translation issue. This game has a lot of interesting crunching decisions in a very small package, and I think it truly is a hidden gem. I don't think very many people know about this one or have played very much of it, and I think that's a shame. This is a game that I would love to play more, and I've tried to over the years play this game a few times. It's just I don't know that it like at face value is something that jumps out, and it's maybe not the easiest just to get played, but I think it's well worth it to be on this list. So that's my number 5. My final draft pick is Honshu.
Nice. Should we go over what everybody picked? Just a recap.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go first. With my first pick, I picked Coloma, then Ice Cool, then Witch's Brew, then Betrayal at Baldur's Gate, and then the best one of them all, Imperial Steam.
All right, so my numbers kind of got jumbled up here a little bit, but I picked Moonrakers, number 1, then Cockroach Poker for number 2, Diamonds, number 3, and number 4, Jump Drive, and my final pick, it just happens to be better than Imperial Steam, and that is Coconuts.
So my list starts with
Asterisk.
the wonderful and incomparable Arkham Horror, the card game, revised edition.
Revised edition. Oh my gosh.
Then I had Jekyll versus Hyde, Paris, 8-Minute Empire Legends, and Honshu.
Nice.
Hopefully some hidden gems that spark some interest for listeners out there.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a number of ones that were kind of honorable mention as well. I was impressed that I started this list with probably 12 games, and I ended up with 4 left over that weren't picked. So my honorable mentions I wanted to put out there were Spicy was in this range.
That was on mine too.
Yep.
And that was a backup, especially I wasn't sure if I was going to put that or Cockroach Poker. I had that one as well, but that got picked. Winner's Circle, a Reiner Knizia game that
I haven't played that
really enjoy. Skulls of Sedlick. I would be remiss if I didn't mention a Button Shy game, right? There were a couple Button Shy games in this range.
The Golden Ages was in there.
The Golden Ages was in there. I didn't put that one on there because I feel like I need to play it more.
One of you guys might do that one.
Just for the art alone.
And then the real one that I ended up not deciding because I had already put an asterisk pick out there was Next Station London. And I only think it's in this range because of how new it is, basically. So I didn't put that one on.
Similar to Arkham Horror Revised Edition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's Do you have honorable mentions?
Yeah. So there was interesting Perseverance was in there.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I didn't, not one that I would have made my top 5, but Ubongo, that's a game I've been playing for years, and it's a fun puzzly type game. That one's fun. Radis is in there. I don't think you guys have played Radis.
I haven't played it, but I did see it.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's one that I haven't played for a while, but I used to play that one quite a bit. Horrified American Monsters. The Horrified series is just fun, and I think the American Monsters version is great. It doesn't add a whole lot of new things to
That's
the
the
system.
second one, or
Yeah, that's the second one.
okay, I haven't played that one.
Yeah, it's it adds a little bit more. It's a little bit more complicated than what some of the monsters do. I just think that's a fun cooperative game. Great game to break out during the Halloween.
Yeah.
So that was a good one. It was kind of amazing to see how many good games were in that range, right? I mean, really, for all the games that are out there, 1,000 to 1,500 isn't that high, considering how many games are really published.
But there are a ton of good games.
Exactly. It just goes to show you how many good games are out there that even being ranked 1,000 or higher, you're still finding fantastic games. Tyler, what about you? What are your honorable mentions?
So I had Dice Throne 1263, but
Nice.
wasn't going to use that one.
Yeah, the system.
Shobu, which I talked about earlier in this episode, is 1335.
Nice.
10, a little card game
Played
from
that one.
AG. That's fantastic. That's at 1488. I feel like that's a little.
That is higher than I.
Yeah. I had Spicy, like you guys did, and then also Tawantin Suyu, which was a David Turczi design from Board and Dice. I only played it once, but I really enjoyed it. It's in the similar vein of weight of Teo and Tekenyu, and it was a good time. So that one is 1094, if I didn't mention that. So
One Carnival of Monsters.
I saw that one too.
Yeah. So I have one big beef with that game. Like it's very similar to Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders has the different age decks where it's age 1, age 2, age 3. Carnival of Monsters, you just mix everything all into one, which can cause some issues, I think, with the game. But the art is fantastic. It's got the artist from Magic the Gathering.
That's one.
Holy cow! How did I forget that? So it's got Magic the Gathering artists in it, which makes it really cool. It adds to the theme. But that was another one. A lot of good ones.
Yeah, it really is amazing how many good games are in this range. And there are games on these lists that I was like, okay, I think Kevin's going to pick this, and I think Tyson's going to pick this, and then there were a couple that I was completely surprised by. So that was fun.
Yeah, and I think Kevin mentioned it best, where like hopefully there were some actual hidden gems in here. There are some that clearly are not hidden gems, but I. Like Arkham Horror is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's not really a hidden gem, but like I think that this range isn't like terribly unknown to people, but I still think that there's some that deserve a lot more attention than they get probably, and hopefully those listening found some that they might want to start checking out or try, or hopefully maybe on our lists we found some that we haven't played of each other's and would like to try.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's start with Imperial Steam.
We've played it.
Yeah.
Honshu. Let's do Honshu.
There. I'm all for that.
Do you have 8-minute Empire Legends?
I do.
Okay. Nice. That one takes 8 minutes, right?
In theory, it does. and it can. It's pretty quick.
Knock that one out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it after recording. Let's do it.
So I think that wraps up our hidden gems.
Hopefully you enjoyed hearing about some of the games from Origins earlier in the episode, and hopefully we found some gems for you to search out and play.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and you want more Longest Turn in your life, please check us out on Instagram. Also, be sure to check us out on Board Game Geek, where you can join our guild, Guild 3947, and check out our blog, where we post all our show notes and occasionally post more detailed reviews. If that's not enough for you, we have a Discord server. If you want to play a game with us on Board Game Arena, join our Board Game Arena group, The Longest Turn. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Tot ziens.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Welcome. Huh?
You got to retry it. That was a little too loud. Try it again.
So Moonmaker,
for me, and I know without a fact that you guys do not have this.
Doubt, maybe,
without a doubt.
Without a fact, I've never heard the term, but maybe it's a saying.
Making stuff up over here. The artist from I'm drawing a blank. Richard Garfield, the most popular card game out there. Magic the Gathering.
So I think if you don't have a hidden gem game that you've... Nope, that was a terrible transition.
That's going nowhere.
Fun. Crash and burn. Then
That's pretty cool that we've done that many episodes, though. Don't you think?
Yeah.
It's awesome. And it's fun.
Yeah,
I don't
mostly.
care what people say about us.
They're not saying anything.
Okay.